The Royal Cambodian Armed Forces is the national military force of Cambodia. The commander-in-chief is King Norodom Sihamoni. Since 2018, General Vong Pison has been commander-in-chief of the RCAF as head of the Army, Navy, Air Force and Gendarmerie. The armed forces operate under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of National Defense. Under the country's constitution, the RCAF is tasked with protecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Cambodia. The Royal Cambodian Army is the largest branch of the RCAF, with troops stationed in each of the country's 25 provinces. Royal Cambodian Navy, the second largest branch, and operates along the Mekong and Busk rivers, and on the Tonle Sap Lake. The military police force of 10,000 is parallel to the civilian police, and has posts in every province and municipality throughout the country. The Royal Cambodian Air Force, the smallest service branch with 5,000 members, operates in every province that has an airport. The Royal Khmer Armed Forces, Forces Armées Royales Khmers, or FARK, was founded on November 9, 1953, under the Franco-Khmer Convention. This contributed to the end of the French colonies and protectorates, and Cambodia gained its own military organization. The role of FARK is to guarantee the sovereignty of the nation and the king, to ensure security, social order and respect for the law, and to defend the Kingdom of Cambodia. With 50,000 troops, FARK is organized at the battalion level, under the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Head of State. In the early stages of the country, its armed forces were often armed with little more than wooden rifles, to outsmart the aggressive Viet Minh forces. This forced King Norodom Sihanouk to sign a border treaty with Vietnam which did not benefit Cambodia, resulting in the loss of much territory. The military situation changed dramatically after the March 1970 coup. Under the regime of the Khmer Republic, FARK was renamed the Khmer National Armed Forces, Forces Armées Nationales Khmeres, or FANK. FANK expanded to 200,000 military personnel, organized into brigades and divisions, in response to the state of emergency during the Cambodian Civil War. All armed forces are ordered by the President. When facing the NVA, Viet Cong or Khmer Rouge, the FANK operate at full strength and often win. Prince Norodom Sihanouk broadcast radio propaganda, urging listeners to go to the jungle and join the communists against the FANK forces. After the fall of the Khmer Republic in April 1975, the Khmer Rouge regime formed the Kampuchea Revolutionary Army, RAC. The army consisted of Khmer Rouge soldiers and defectors from FANK-LNL. The defectors who joined the Khmer Rouge were never fully trusted by the original Khmer Rouge. They were later cleared by Pol Pot, when thousands of Khmer Rouge soldiers and officers were ordered to be killed by the Khmer Rouge leadership. Following the intervention of Vietnamese forces in January 1979, resulting in the collapse of the Khmer Rouge regime, the Kampuchea People's Revolutionary Armed Forces, KPRAF, was formed. Renamed the Phnom Penh government's Cambodian People's Armed Forces, CPAF, when it was rebuilt, and evolved from battalions into divisions. An anti-Vietnamese movement formed along the Cambodia-Thailand border. In addition to the remaining Democratic Kampuchea National Army, NADK, two other non-communist resistance forces, the Khmer People's National Liberation Army, KPNLAF, and the Armées Nationales pour Khmer Independent, ANKI, formerly Armées Nationales Sihanoukistes or ANS, were founded. The military evolution of the last two movements was similar, from small armed groups to divisions. Due to the Cold War and the interference of global powers, Cambodia has found itself insecure since the 1970s. This was only partially resolved by the October 1991 Paris Peace Agreement, as KPRAF still dominated the three resistance groups, the Khmer Rouge, KPNLF, and ANCI. The Royal Cambodian Armed Forces were re-established in 1993 following the democratic election of a government consisting of two prime ministers. The armed forces of all parties except the NADK are integrated into the National Armed Forces. NADK joined in 1998, after Pol Pot's death. KPRAF dominated the three integrated guerrilla groups, with ANC and Khmer Rouge commanders later replaced by those loyal. In 2001, Co-Minister of Defense Sisawath Sirirat said that Cambodia's total military strength stood at around 120,000 people. Since the end of the fighting, and the surrender of the last remaining Khmer Rouge, the Cambodian military has undergone substantial changes as it transitioned to a peacetime power. Since 1999, the government has worked to demobilize large numbers of troops, with support from the World Bank. Demobilization efforts began in February 2000, and the first 10,000 troops were demobilized in a pilot project later that year. In 2001, the first phase of demobilization began. 20,000 soldiers returned to civilian life and grand ceremonies across the country. Although a second phase of demobilization was planned for 2003, in which an additional 30,000 soldiers would leave the armed forces, the process was stalled by allegations of corruption and procurement irregularities. For 2021, Cambodia is ranked 94 of 140 out of the countries considered for the annual GFP review. It holds a PWR score of 2.2751, a score of 0.0000 is considered perfect. This entry was last updated on March 3, 2021. Cambodia has a total population of 16,926,984 people, and has active personnel, 125,000 military, as well as paramilitary, 70,000, with a defense budget of $600 million. The Cambodian Air Force has total aircraft strength, 21 aircraft, including 4 transport aircraft, and 17 helicopters. And the Army has 635 tanks and armored vehicles, as many as 1,000 units, and towed artillery, as many as 713 units. Also rocket projectors, as many as 420 units. For the Navy, it has total assets, 27 assets, among others, 26 patrol vessels.